So you're wondering if saving for retirement or saving for a house is better. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the pros of saving for retirement versus the pros of saving for a down payment, a few other things you should be taking into consideration when you're making this decision, and my strategy behind this question. So if that's something you're interested, stay tuned for this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrienne. I post videos every Monday on all things investing and personal finance. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely go ahead and click the subscribe button below. It really helps to support my channel, and on top of that, it's free for you. A few weeks ago, I did a Q&A on my Instagram, and if you're not following me on Instagram, you should definitely go follow me on Instagram. I asked you guys some questions and I answered them on Instagram, but one of the questions I got, and I said I could make an entire video about this, was which is better to prioritize, investing or saving for retirement versus saving for a down payment. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I also want to preface, I'm not a professional. These are just things that I have learned and I want you guys to be thinking about. And I said in previous videos that I had a surprise coming up to share with you guys. And so all of the videos I've been doing are kind of like revolved around that topic. So maybe you can guess what I'm going to be sharing with you guys soon. But without further ado, let's get into the video. I do want to preface this by saying that to get to the point where you are investing for retirement or saving for a down payment, so you need to be rid of any bad debts. So like credit card debt, and also you should definitely have a fully funded emergency fund at this point. So first, the pros of saving for retirement. One of the pros of saving for retirement and investing that money is that since you are younger, you have more time to allow it to grow, and therefore you can better take advantage of compound interest. The younger you start saving for retirement and start investing, the more time you have to allow compound interest to take effect. So we've all heard about how compound interest is like your best friend, especially when you're starting to save for retirement. And when you are starting young, your money can work harder for you as opposed to you saving more money. The second thing is, a money in a retirement account is more liquid than the money in real estate. First of all, money invested not necessarily within a retirement account is going to be much more liquid than any money that you have in a home. However, when that money is invested in retirement accounts, there are a lot of stipulations. There are withdrawal penalties or taxes you may have to pay if you withdraw that money. But generally, the money in a retirement fund, or definitely an investment fund, is more liquid than money held within a house. And this is particularly important for people who are young, because at a young age, things are a little bit more up in the air. You don't necessarily know what you are doing or what you're planning on doing, especially in your 20s. You don't know if your job's going to take you somewhere else, so you don't know if you should stay put. Having money be more liquid may be an important factor for you. The third pro is that if rent is low, so sometimes historically rent can be very low. Right now, interest rates are very low, so it's actually a very good time to purchase a home. But if rent is low, it may be a really good idea for you to rent and save whatever you're saving for retirement. The fourth pro of saving for retirement first, it helps to diversify your net worth / not be house poor. So a lot of times one of people's biggest assets is their home, and that can be very dangerous, especially having seen everything that happened in 2008 with the housing crash. It's not always the best thing to have all of your money in your home, and that's what a lot of Americans do have. The last pro for saving for retirement first is that at a very last resort, not that I'm suggesting this at all, but when you save for retirement, like in an IRA, specifically a Roth IRA, or even within an employer-sponsored retirement plan, you can withdraw money if it's going towards the purchase of a first home. So what that means is I am allowed to withdraw $10,000 from my Roth IRA penalty free if I am using it to purchase my first home. Now, this would be a little bit different if you have a traditional IRA, because you don't have to pay any penalties, but you will have to pay income taxes on all of that money. So that's really important to think about. From everything I have ever read, almost nobody suggests you use that option to pay for a home, because you are really limiting yourself in terms of what your retirement investments can do. All of that money you can't repay. So it's not like you borrow the $10,000 from your Roth IRA intending to give it back. It's not a loan. loan. Once you take it out, you can't put it back. You're going to be losing out on all of the growth from that $10,000. And now I want to talk about the pros of saving for a house first. The first pro being there are a lot of tax advantages to having a mortgage. Once you have a mortgage, you can itemize the deductions on your taxes, including a mortgage. Before you have a mortgage, usually you won't meet the minimum to be able to itemize your deductions in order to get a bigger deduction than the standard deduction. That was probably really confusing. Scratch that. But there are a lot of tax advantages to having a mortgage, which is why I'm including it as a pro. The next pro is that long-term owning is always going to be more economical than renting. So if you know you're going to be staying put or staying in one place for a long time, like at least 5 to 7 years, then owning your home is likely going to save you more money than renting. Or if you don't know if you're going to be staying in one place, at least having a backup plan of what you're going to do when you move. So whether that be renting it out or something else, have a plan, because you start losing money on real estate when you buy and sell very quickly or within a quick turnaround. So let's say you buy a house, you live in it for a year and you sell it next year, you're going to lose a lot of money on all of the transaction fees, all of the property taxes, maintenance fees, a lot of those things that people don't talk about when purchasing a home. The next pro is that if interest rates are low, saving for a home is a great idea, or looking to buy a home is a great option, because in the long term, that's going to be saving you thousands and thousands of dollars. So right now, we're actually in a market where interest rates are the lowest they've been in years. So right now, you would think is actually a very good time to buy a home. It's also a seller's market, which means there are a lot of buyers. The sellers have more control over how much they sell their house for. So since interest rates are so low right now, and so many people want to buy a house because interest rates are so low, that's actually increasing the price of houses. However, if you do find that perfect home and the interest rate is low and you get it for a good price, that is a great reason to save to purchase a home. And if you found this video helpful, please go ahead and subscribe and like this video down below. I would really appreciate it. And with that said, let's jump back into the video. Okay, so some other things to take into consideration when you are deciding if you want to save for retirement or save to purchase a home. There is no right or wrong way. There is no one answer that is correct. It's going to be different for everybody depending on your situation and what you're prioritizing in your life at that moment. In general, you can do both. In my opinion, I would prioritize both. So I would prioritize both saving for retirement and saving for a house. If I were to choose one, I would probably gravitate towards prioritizing saving for retirement. The only reason I say that is because retirement is not an option. If I live a normal, long life, I will retire someday and I will need that money. However, homeownership is a choice. I do have a choice of whether or not I want to own a home. And also, there are a lot of other ways around paying for a home. In addition, if you're looking at purchasing a home as an investment, or if you're looking at your money in general as wanting to invest it, typically the money that goes into your home, especially your first home, and definitely the home that you're living in, should not be looked at as an investment. And that is because historically, over 20, 30 years, the performance in the stock market has always outweighed the performance in the real estate market. And not to mention the transaction costs you have to pay when you're buying and selling a home, maintenance costs of owning a home, the property taxes you have to pay every year. There are a lot of expenses that come into owning a home that aren't true if you have that money invested. However, there are other fees when you're investing in the stock market. It's also important to know that when you know you're going to be staying put somewhere, or you know when you want to put down roots somewhere and you feel ready to purchase a home, you don't necessarily need to have 20% to put down on a house, especially if you're a first-time homeowner. A lot of people want to get to that 20% because they want to avoid paying the PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. However, I feel like it's not talked about a lot, but first-time homeowners have a ton of incentives to purchase their first home. The federal government has a lot of incentives, but also states also have incentives for first-time homeowners. So that means you may qualify for a much lower interest rate than what other home buyers would, or some states offer a grant for first-time homeowners, or there's actually something, at least in my state, called an MCC, which is a mortgage credit certificate. And basically, I'm allowed to write off 10% of my mortgage as a tax credit, which is better than a tax deduction. That's a whole other video. I can't go into that. If I were just starting to save, this is exactly what I would do. I would save up to my company match if my company has an employer-sponsored retirement plan and if they match, and then I would invest in a Roth IRA, an and I would max that out, and then whatever extra money I would then save towards whatever I wanted to save. So if I wanted to prioritize saving for retirement, I would put it into my employer sponsored retirement plan. But if I wanted to prioritize saving for a house, I would save that money towards a down payment. And that's not the case for everybody. That's just personally what I would do. Your situation may be and likely is very different from mine. I do aim to save at least 20% total, whether that be in my retirement or in a house or a down payment. But I do get it. A lot of us want to be homeowners at some point in our life. We don't want to be renters for the rest of our lives, because it's like there's a sense of adulthood that comes with it. And also, like, home ownership is tangible, whereas investing is not. It's not as tangible. You can't feel stocks. You can feel a home. And overall, owning is going to be more economical in the long term if that fits your lifestyle. So question of the day, are you prioritizing saving for retirement or investing, or are you prioritizing saving for a down payment? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know down in the comments here if you want me to do more Instagram Q&As, because that one was really fun. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next Monday. Bye guys. Oh, buddy. Oh, dang. I think I just spit into the camera. Oopsies.